welcome to Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We're still celebrating the life and times of Edson Arantes do Nascimento, popularly known as Pele, following his passing on to glory at the age of 82. And tonight, it's all going to be about our tributes are coming from across the world, from different spheres, from entertainment to football, to basketball, to Hollywood. Outpouring of tributes for Pele. That's what we're going to be talking about on the show tonight. Austin Okonakman is ready to join me as well. And Austin, you've got a bit of a smile on your face. I guess, like you said yesterday, this is all about a celebration, not a mourning per se.
That's right. Sports Security is still tired. Of course, our viewers joining us from different parts of the world. So today I went out, to the streets of London just to find out what people were saying about the passing of Pele. I'm tired. That's why I'm smiling, because it was just love all the way that they had for this global football icon. I spoke to people from Argentina, people from Peru, people from all over Europe, and even the younger generation that had gone to research Pele Tayo. They had beautiful things to say about Pele. Just to tell you that what he did off the field was even bigger than what he did on the field, because he had a large personality that could contain love, affection. He wanted this world to be a better place. I met a Brazilian that told me that in a local community, Pele fought for them against hunger, deprivation, and of course, poor livelihood in the society. So it was all about, fighting for humanity, using the power of football to transform lives. And that's why I just had to smile coming on the show, because I heard beautiful things. And I'm saying that this is the best way to, remember Pele. Tayo, he will keep getting his flowers.
You're spot on, Austin. And guess who's actually agreeing with you on the show tonight? I mean, we could have brought our next, my studio guest out at this time from a very busy schedule. I'm talking about Shola Rogers. Shola Rogers, good evening. It's great to have you on the show.
Good evening, guys. It is actually an amazing place to be.
First time out, right?
I love your new studios. Can I call it new, though?
Yeah.
Because it's my first time, so
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And yes, it's an auspicious occasion. It's an august event. It's, for me, like Austin said earlier, it's a celebration. It's a celebration of the greatest that ever did it when it came to football and even sports, for me, personally. So I get the vibes.
You get the vibes, right? I'm talking about the vibes from as soon as it happened, pretty much last night. The tributes, the outpouring of tributes is incredible all day long from different areas of life, and that's why the word transcendence is going to be used a lot during this occasion of Pele, because it wasn't only on the pitch. His impact was felt off the pitch across the world, from India to Africa to Europe,
Lagos,
South
Nigeria.
Lagos, Nigeria, Abuja.
1967.
Right, the war, right?
During the war, they suspended the war. There was a ceasefire for 48 hours. So that
just to watch Pele play
in Lagos.
Wow.
And of course, guess the stationary stores. you know how it is now. So that's how big Pele was. He was that kind of guy,
Wow.
and he did it all. He was into movies. He was a musician. He wrote songs, produced songs, acted in movies. He did everything. 1977, he was involved in the movie. In 81, he was in Sylvester Stallone's movie. And
Escape to Victory.
Escape to Victory. The Hot Shot. It was just like an all-rounder.
It was larger than life.
Minister of Sports for 3 years, from 1995 to 1998. And if you even go further back to the beginning, where he started at the age of 7, as a shoeshine boy in front of a sports center, where his dad was a footballer. He got injured and his career was blighted and all of that. It just shows you that he has seen it all, he's done it all, and that makes him, to me, again, because I know there's just these funny arguments out there, and whenever people go at it, I keep quiet. I don't join that fray. But now, it's a good time to let them know that this is the greatest of all time.
Truly. Truly, it's one life, one love. There could only be one king. Right?
Only one.
Only one king.
Yeah.
And that's Pele. All right, let's get on with the show. Austin, you're about to chip in as well.
That's right. I was just going to pause Shala Rogers because if we don't stop Shala, the love he's having for Pele tonight, it was just going to go on and on and on and on. As we said at the start of the program, tributes pouring in for this global football icon, former Super Eagles captain Sunday Oliseh. He posted something on Instagram. He said the king of football, Pele, peacefully passed on today. That was yesterday when it broke, but his legacy lives on and will never be forgotten or equaled. Thank you, sir, for being my hero and inspiration, plus the joy you gave to billions worldwide. Rest in peace, King Pele. Sunday Oliseh is in Germany. He's always busy, the busy man. He joins us now live on the program. Skipo, that's what I call you. That's what I always call you. Good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Good evening, Austin. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Compliments of the season. Good to see you. And good job you're doing, giving Nigeria global representation. You did a good job at the last World Cup. Keep giving us that good representation. Let's talk about Pele. I saw your tribute and it touched me because you called him your hero. Why was Pele your hero?
Well, as a kid, you know, for us, Pele's name was synonymous to football, you know, and if you read back into history, before Pele came onto the scene, football was dominated by Europeans, and, you know, it was when he came that dominance stopped. And most of the things as kids that we all learned, we tried to imitate on the streets of Festac or Jota or everywhere, or Babo in Delta. Those are things that we were able to get glimpses of from those black and white TVs we used to see of Pele back then. So personally, it's sad. It was a sad day for me. I felt emotional. My wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Look, in my whole lifetime, he was the only person we could nearly idolize because he was just too much. Was just too much."
You met him at the USA 94 World Cup. You shook hands with him. What was it like coming up close and personal with such a football legend?
Well, I am blessed to have met him 3 times. You know, the first one was when we played the AFCON final in '94. Right. He was the one that came in there. And something we have to realize that it was after that game when Pele saw us play in '94 that he made the statement that, look, one African nation will eventually win the World Cup before the year 2000. And I think the best thing God did was that at least before God took him back to heaven, he got to see an African nation at least come very close to winning it in this World Cup in Qatar. Look, most of the things everybody's trying now, players are playing now, trying leg over, back spin, Sagalo, like we call it in Nigeria. This is the man who started it. He was one of the first to do it, and we all started imitating. So I think Mr. Football just left.
Tayo is in Lagos. Tayo, and the way Sunday Oliseh has described it, I think no debates. That's the greatest of all time.
You can say that again. I mean, it's safe to say that. Skipo, I'm going to ask you, I believe a lot of people have seen your tweet with the great one, the King Pele. I'm just curious, what was that conversation like? What were you guys talking about just before that match kicked off?
Well, the thing he just said was that he just congratulated us about what he had seen before then, you know. And just like, it was a very short few words, but it was like he had prepared it, you know, something like, I remember he was saying like, congratulations, you're doing well, keep it up, you know, just like that. And for a young kid coming up then, you know, looking at somebody who's like the god of football, you know, it was like, no, I'm going back to Lagos with that cup today. And that's what we did.
Indeed. And one more thing, his goal scoring record, I mean, it's unprecedented. It's well documented, very prolific player, 1,281 goals recognized by FIFA. But it wasn't an out-and-out striker, right? And I mean, where's the number 10? And so for you, what part of the game would you say was underrated or perhaps understated?
In the history of football, nobody is as complete as Pele. I am not going into sentiments now. I don't want to go into all these arguments people are making left or right about who's the greatest of all time. We should all have our opinions, and our opinions should be respected. But I think nobody has been a player who can play with the left foot as good as he can play with the right foot. He's good in the air. When it comes to ball control, he's perfect at it. When it comes to shooting, he's good at it. When it comes to dribbling, he's good at it. When it comes to defending, watch the 1970 World Cup game per game, like I was fortunate to do at in Qatar recently. You will see him, each game he was not only attacking, defending, but he was also spreading passes. He could do it all. So when you're talking of the perfect player who can play right foot, left foot, head, chest, waist, even use his behind to control the ball, Pele was it.
Complete player.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Skippo, aside football, he also had a great personality. What was it about Pele off the field that you admired?
Look, Austin, I will share something with you. After we beat Bulgaria in Paris, Coach Bora Milutinovic gave us the evening off. He asked us that we were free because we had already picked up 6 points. We were going into the second round in France 98. I went out with Fini Di George and Tijani Babangida. We went to have dinner in the restaurant. As we were just coming in, God just blessed us. Who was coming out was Pele. He ran into the three of us. Now, he is Brazilian, right? But he was able to tell me and Fini and Babangida things about ourselves, and even told me that he just used my goal I scored against Spain on a program that he had done for, I think, the Brazilian TV from then. Now, if you look at it, put yourself in my place. This is the man that he's bigger than life and everything. And he's telling you, he just watched, he used your goal, and I was like, blown off.
Compliments.
You can call Finito, ask him. Maybe he will remind, he will confirm this day. This was really, this is how he was. And this was a man that, everywhere he went, he preached love. Everywhere he went, he was always trying to find the peace. He was always trying to help people. We know people have won World Cups, but this man won the World Cup at the age of 17, scoring 2 goals in the final. It's not as if he was just a member of the team. He won it 4 years after. They lost it in 66. He was injured. He was kicked out. He came back in 1970 at the end of his career and won the World Cup, scoring again in the final. It's, as a human being, it makes you feel good about yourself, And every time I met him, the third time I met him, I couldn't speak to him. That was in Brazil in 2014, But just his aura, those who have met him will confirm to you, when Pele is around, everybody forgets everything else. Everybody forgets everything else. It's just Pele that we're all looking at, And he has a nice smile, always has a nice shake for you. And look, we lost something today. We lost some yesterday. We lost something great.
Indeed.
But in all of the Skippo, is it also a celebration of life?
Yeah. I think, Austin, you hit the nail on the head, right? Because our prayers as human beings all is that when we leave this earth, let us have at least the opportunity to prepare our departure. Living up to 82 years old, he had this illness for some time. He's been fighting it for some time. At least we have the joy that at least what he loved the most was the last thing he saw before he died, the World Cup. He finished the final. He saw one of his favorite players, Mbappe, excel, and he left. It's just great.
People would have loved to keep you. I'm sure Tayo would have loved to go with some more questions, but you need to go. But before you go, will there be another Pele ever?
I don't want to break the bubbles, but those kind of people come only once in maybe 300, 400 years. That's the thing. I don't think we'll ever see a Pele again. But at least not in my lifetime. I know I'm not going to deceive myself. The time I've spent in this world is more than the one that is left. So let's enjoy the one. So that's the reality Pele's death is bringing to me now since yesterday. So let's all just say that what we should do is just cherish his memory.
Yeah.
And my advice to the young people is this. When I mean young people, I mean those who are less than 35, 40. Please take time to watch videos of this man playing.
Yeah.
Without any bias, just watch and try to imagine the kind of pitch he was playing at then, not like the ones we have now. Try to imagine the kind of deadly tackles, we used to call them Onibeji in Nigeria, that he was getting there and still surviving to score 1,281 goals. This is unbelievable. No, we lost somebody. We lost somebody.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Thank you so much, Sunday Oliseh, for your time. We love you. We're proud of you. Keep giving Nigeria that representation. Thank you so much.
God bless, bro. Take care.
That's right. Same to you. Same to you, Skipper. So that's it. From former Super Eagles striker, Captain Sunday Oliseh speaking to us on the show. Let's go on this quick break. When we come back, Shola Rogers and Tayo will jump on some of the things that Sunday Oliseh spoke about. Don't go anywhere.